But Lyndon was looking straight at me. I don't know if that picked up. Lyndon was looking straight at me. I was telling him to hold his feet, telling him to get up at 8. He got up at 9. He was ready to fight on.
He wasn't ready to fight on. You're supposed to get up at 8 with your gloves up, looking at the referee, waiting for him to wipe your gloves off. You are supposed to be taught that by your coaches on how to deal with knockdowns. You get up with your gloves up, look in the eye of the referee, and signal to him that, yes, you're ready to go.
And the ref straight waved it off. I've been told since then that it's a rule, I'm not sure if it's new, that if a fighter's not on their feet by 8, the fight's to be called off. I don't know how true that is, but I've been told it.
I contacted the British Boxing Board of Control about that yesterday, but they didn't get back to me and they were very vague. If that is true, he didn't have his shit together by 8. See, by 8, you've got to be looking at the referee. You've got to be looking at the referee, preferably with your hands up, and he's got to see that you've got some fight left in there. Then he wipes your gloves off, fight continues. He wasn't doing that. He didn't want to fight. He wasn't in a position to defend himself. So anyone in the comment section saying that this was some Frank Warren scheme, he lost the fight fair and square. Lyndon finally did an interview. The interviewer from IFL, he said, is it true that if you won, your promotional contract with Warren would carry on, but if not, it would be terminated? He said, yeah, that's facts. That's something they agreed on. And Lyndon said, that's the one good thing that's come out from the loss. I started to wonder, did he lose on purpose? But no. But no, he didn't. Sonny was intimating that Lyndon could have continued. And Lyndon was hinting at the same thing, that he didn't know why the referee stopped it. He also attempted to explain when people were saying, well, why didn't you protest? Because that shows fire, that you really wanted to win. If you just meekly walk away when the referee waves it off, it gives off a vibe that you don't really want it. But Lyndon was like so matter-of-factly, well, if the referee stopped it, you're not going to change his mind. It's like if you get a red card in football, you're not going to change the referee's mind. It's not the point though, is it? Fighters who have trained long training camps and have showed us in the build-up they really want to win, they usually look a bit vexed at what they deem a premature stoppage. But the thing was, if he was ready to continue, why did he squat down when the referee stopped it? What was that, disappointment, or was he hurt? No, I'm going to suggest he was hurt. He just didn't recover from the beating he took, and he took a bad beating. He said he came into the ring and didn't have no fear. He was telling his team, Pat Barrett, he wasn't nervous, perhaps suggesting that's why he was more reckless than usual, and he fought Yarde's fight. That's his reasoning. But my reasoning is, did Yarde just fight a better fight than he did last time? January 2015, 5-year contract, $40 million was rejected by ADRIEN BRONER in 2015 from Rock Nation. He even threw shots at Jay-Z after declining the offer.
Fuck Jay-Z.
Fuck Jay-Z. Shit real out here. About billions. What the fuck is 40 million for 5 years? Ha! Somebody told Jay-Z to suck his body parts. That's one thing black men have to stop doing, is inviting man to come suck their body parts. He felt that Jay should have contacted him himself, calling the proposal bullshit. He said he felt disrespected. If you're going to come to me and tell me I'm going to fight 2 times a year, get $8 million a year for 5 years straight, you got me fucked up. Now the question is, was he looking at Floyd's money too much to realize that, yo, this is a whole load of money? How much did he get for the John Molina fight? That was the next fight he had after turning down the offer. The next fight after that, he lost to Sean Porter. He was supposedly the A side against Sean Porter, who dropped down 3 pounds from his regular 147 pound weight as a welterweight. Came down to 144 and beat Broner. Broner got 1.3 for that. Porter got an even million. So he got 1.2 for the Molina fight, 1.3 for the Sean Porter fight. Neither was on pay-per-view, so there's no percentages to come after that. He had another fight that year against Alika Derviev. That was $1 million purse. So he certainly didn't earn $8 million in 2015. And I don't do maths. Let's say 3.6. He's already 4.4 down on what they would have paid him for the year at The Rock. He had 3 fights that year. He fought once in 2016, $1 million purse from Ashley Theophane. So let's say they were paying him $4 million a fight at the Rockies, $3 million down there. 2 fights in 2017, Adrian Granada's $1 million purse, Mikey Garcia $1 million purse. $6 million down from what they would have paid him at the Rock for the 2 fights. But then again, look, the Rock deal was probably contingent on him winning most of these fights, so potentially he could have earned that. 1 fight in 2018 against Jesse Vargas, so that's $1 million. 2.5 for the Pacquiao fight in 2019 with an upside on the pay-per-view. So, you know, since 2015, turning down the Rockefeller contract, that's probably the only fight that's got him anywhere near netting a $4 million purse, which is what he would have got on a 2-fight a year average at the Rock. So let's say he cleared 4.5 for that year. So he turned down a $40 million deal for 20.9. He barely earned over half of what they were offering at the Rock. And that's me being generous with some of the estimates there. Here's a quote from Adrian Broner earlier this year. "This is crazy. Niggas train their whole life and never get the chance to make this type of money. He's happy for Jake Paul. But this is mind-blowing," is what he wrote on Instagram. And he said, "Because Showtime Boxing and Al Heyman do pay the fuck out of me, but I really put the work in since I was 6. If you make that kind of money, why would you even comment on Jake Paul making $690,000 against Ben Askren?" And he said, "I'm not hating, but fuck it. My next fight has got to be on Triller." Crying, laughing. Now at the time when he turned down the Rock Nation deal. If I've said Rockefeller before, I apologize. Rock Nation deal. A lot of people were asking, what beef does he have with Jay-Z? There was no reason to have a beef with Jay-Z. Jay-Z was just offering to put a whole load of money in your pocket. So it seems, or at the time, it seemed like he was taking up for Al Heyman's beef with Jay-Z. I don't know the details. I think it goes back to Al's concert promotion days where there was some issue with Beyonce's tour money. I don't know anything beyond that. So in 2018, he accused Eddie Hearn of offering him a slave deal. Some emails went back and forth. Broner didn't handle it professionally at all, and that seemed to be the end of that. Now, after a lot of legal situations and Al apparently having Adrian on an allowance, and he's been begging Al Heyman for fights, it seems this slave deal from Eddie is looking good to AB right now. Yesterday, "I've been making millions every fight over 10 years. Y'all do the math, you idiots. And now it's time to make some more. Maybe it's with DAZN. Maybe it's with Show Sports. Shit. Maybe I'll be the first one to bring HBO boxing back. Just know I must see TV. 135, 140. So, on a Boxing Social interview, Eddie was entertaining the idea of working with Adrian Broner. And from what he was saying, he wants to try and use him as cannon fodder for Conor Benn. Now, Adrian's ballpark at the PBC was $1 million. And I don't think it's going to go down much less than that. There's pros and cons for Eddie, there's pros and cons for Adrian. A con for Adrian is like, who's there really to fight at 147 at DAZN or Matchroom? But then again, how much has he got left? DAZN are cutting back on them big payouts that Mikey Garcia and Triple G have exploited, and Canelo. Will he be getting the same money that Eddie was going to give him in 2018? Con for Eddie is he's getting a badly faded fighter, but he needs to make inroads with the American market. Neither Devin or Demetrius have been able to do that. Broner, say what you want. There are, or has been many times, Broner has just literally stole the room. I'm talking about his antics outside the ring. And, you know, fights with Conor Benn, he'll be compensated very well. But that's not a big fight in America. They don't know Conor Benn in America. Will he travel? O2 Arena, that's a good gate with AB. And while he's over here, people are going to turn up to see him wherever he is at presses, any promotional opportunities. They're going to turn up to see Adrian Broner out here. They're going to turn up. I guarantee that. The media are going to be all over it. Like Bob was saying, you know, Terence Crawford and Josh Taylor do 70,000 soccer stadium fights in the UK. had to find that funny. I said, no, child, I work hard for the money. But calling me a thief, please, don't even try it. Sit down, eat your slice of pizza and be quiet. I'm going to be honest, man. I'd probably say Adrian Broner is more popular than Terence Crawford in the UK. Hate to say it. Horrible to say it. Don't blame me. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Ben has got to get past Chris Algieri on Saturday. There's a lot of people who think, could be a banana skin. A few people. But basically, Algieri should be a bit too long in the tooth, really, to trouble Conor Benn. Like, Tommy Coyle was given as good as he was getting for a few rounds with Chris. That was in 2019 on the AJ Ruiz rematch card. Ben should win the fight. He should win the fight. The thing is, though, I don't know how I should summarize Conor's career so far. Okay, he's won some WBA Continental title. He's defended it a few times. He's got scalps like Formella, Samuel Vargas, Adrian Granados. He's 25 years of age. But, as they say on the UK domestic scene, he hasn't went the traditional route. Like, Eko Essuman is the British and Commonwealth champion, and David Avanesian is the European champion. And Conor hasn't fought for none of them straps. And guys like Lennox Lewis, he won the British Commonwealth and European. Lloyd Hunnigan, Billy Joe Saunders, British Commonwealth and European. And you don't have to win all three, but you would have thought you challenged for maybe a British at least, or European. Like, Bruno never fought for the British title. He won the European, though. But a fighter, his network, and his promoter, they all need a strategy. Does he really need them belts? If he's ranked number 7 by the WBC, I can't see Eko Essuman ranked there. David Avanesian is ranked number 3. For some reason, he's ranked higher than David Avanesian by the WBA. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening in all truth. And the IBF have got him ranked higher than David Avanesian. He's not ranked by the WBO. Avanesian is ranked number 7. Eko Essuman is not ranked anywhere. He's British and Commonwealth champion. You've got Michael Mickinson. He's ranked number 4 by the WBO, higher than Conor. It's another domestic rival. Now, a lot of this is down to politics. Eddie's feeding him guys who have been on the world stage, but they're at least 3 years past their best now. The likes of Algieri, former world champion, at 140. Vargas has some decent performances at welter, mostly losing ones. And Adrian Granados. Is it good matchmaking or skillful matchmaking? Bypassing British, Commonwealth and European, and then trying to jump straight to world. I guess some would see it as cheating a little. Personally, I wouldn't fight Eko Essuman. I wouldn't fight him. Because he has it all to gain. Like, only the hardcores could say, yeah, I'd like to see Ben versus Essuman. But who knows him outside of the hardcores? If Ben turns him over, he's not going to get much of a higher ranking than what he's got now. It's going to mean nothing across the pond where most of the straps are, or to the sanctioning bodies. Essuman and Mickinson need to be fighting each other. Because look, whether you like it or not, Ben has a head start on them. Call it nepotism, but he's more popular. His dad is a legend of British boxing. Forget the nepotism, Ben has fought better opponents, even if they are a little faded. Essuman and Mickinson need each other. Now, David Avanesian is world class. He's the European champion. Conor shouldn't be rated above him, and Conor shouldn't get no type of world title shot before David Avanesian. But if he's ranked higher than him, who knows what could happen. And Conor, obviously, he's not going to fight David Avanesian for the European title. Eddie's already said he's not ready for David Avanesian. He's 2-3 fights away from that. But whatever they're doing so far, they've had a few near hiccups on the way against that Payernord guy. Ben pulled it back out with them late knockdowns. Absolute thriller of a fight that was. How should they play it though? Because so far, you have to say it's a success. People didn't think he was going to get nowhere after watching his debut in the early part of his career. And now they're on the cusp of world title shots. Would it be a backward step to try and win European and British titles? Or Would you like to see Ben test himself at Commonwealth, European and British level before going on to world title honours? You see, there's a boxing aspect to it and there's a business aspect to it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm actually not bothered that Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley are not going to have any drug testing, apparently. At least not by VADA. I'm not mad at that, because it's consensual. So if they both want to juice up and beat the fuck out of each other, it's consensual. I don't get involved in adults' business like that unless one of the parties was genuinely unaware of foul play, put their health in jeopardy. But it's a consensual. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury was to carry some form of random testing, including post-fight tests to be performed by VADA, but none of that is available for the Paul and Woodley fight, for whatever reason. The first fight that Woodley and Paul had, there was no drug testing for that, no pre-fight testing conducted by the Ohio State Athletic Commission. The other bouts that had Amanda Serrano defending her world titles were subject to post-fight drug testing. Now, all this no pre-fight testing is ridiculous. Like, you want to catch people before they go in the ring if you're going to do any testing. Now, I don't have no problem with Jake's lack of regard for drug testing. I don't have no problem with it. The Ohio State Commission, I'm not going to throw no shade at them. I expect a lot of them commissions in different parts of America to be dirty. When I used to buy the boxing news, stories always used to come out about Oklahoma and other state commissions around America. You know, they had ringers going in the ring and people fighting their uncles and cousins and shit. You know what I mean? Like, different states, just cowboy ran commissions, basically. Showtime, however, though, is supposed to be a reputable network with a history in boxing, a legacy. Why are they not demanding such a high-profile bout on their network, the main event, to have drug testing, pre-fight and post-fight? Steven Espinosa, he's all about the ratings, you know. He pretends to be this caring liberal, but it's all full of shit, really, isn't it? Let's keep it real. And where's the quote-unquote mainstream boxing press? How come they're not making rounds with this as a news story? Gervonta Tank Davis relinquishes secondary WBA 140-pound title and will remain at lightweight. I can imagine Leonard that'll be quick before they mandate you to fight Josh Taylor. Get rid of the fucking thing. Okay, so my man Don King was required to submit a 25% deposit. That's $250,000 to secure conditional rights to the Manuel Charr, the regular champion, and Trevor Bryan, what would he be? The world champion, Usyk is the super champion, with a bid of just over $1 million. Don wins the purse bid for the rescheduled WBA title fight. Boy, them two have been just languishing around them lower tier belts forever, man. Where's Frezequendo? The only one is shot still. And Shannon, the cannon. Let's go, champ! So, is this their initiative to clean up the belts? So the winner will be a mandatory, surely, for Alexander Usyk. I mean, I haven't seen none of them lower tier guys get mandated for the main strap. Whether it was Ruslan Shagayev, Lucas Brown, but he popped for whatever. Trevor Bryan, Charr, none of them. In the last, what, how many years? It's been a minute, hasn't it? Oh dear. Done. The fuck are you doing, man? Let's sit down in our rocking chair, man. You know what I mean?
Only in America.
Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios. This is Thurman's first fight since losing to Pacquiao in 2019. And Barrios is coming off his knockout defeat to Tank Davis this year. Now, a lot of people have critiqued the opponent, but Keith has fought good opponents in the past, right? You can't put him in with the livest of the live at 147. There's just too many questions to answer at this stage here. Now, he's trying to get back on the horse, obviously. But he needs to be aware that there cannot be no more slacking. There cannot be no more injuries. Now, you can't help getting injured, but At 33, he can't afford too many things not to run smoothly right now. And I believe Barrios is going to run him hard. Actually, I do. He's 26. I know he got knocked out last time, but Keith is going to be rusty. When he gets into his stride, he should be able to dispatch Barrios, you would think. Barrios wasn't doing too bad until Tank caught him with some big punches. This is the final roll of the dice, really. This, I guess you'd have to call comeback over 2 years out of the ring. Final roll of the dice, Keith Thurman. I think he's scheduled for January next year. Styles make fights, styles make fights. I'm not expecting Vasily Lomachenko to do an early destruction job on Richard COMMEY like Teofimo Lopez did. Lopez is a bigger fighter than Lomachenko. He's more explosive, but I expect Lomachenko's feet and frenetic angles to give Richard COMMEY fits. But if he can catch Loma backing out in a straight line, you know what I mean? Like, Loma's not getting no younger, and land one of them right-hand bombs, I think I'll have to become an honorary Ghanaian and celebrate with them. I don't think Lomachenko is 100% over this shoulder injury like they're claiming, like Bob Arum he is claiming. I don't think they are. I think there's a lot of wear and tear, all the amateur fights. And Richard COMMEY has to be like a bloodhound and be able to sniff out any deterioration and go get him. You know, they're trying to make out that the Teofimo Lopez loss was a fluke, and it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just some wonderful anomaly where he was caught slipping. That's what they want you to believe. But the pick here is Lomachenko emphatically. Points, maybe late stoppage. Richard does have a puncher's chance though, and a good puncher's chance as well. So this is DAZN's advertising strategy in the UK. Do you get the Metro outside London? I would imagine you did. Maybe you do. So they've got Katie Taylor on the front, Conor BENN on the back. And they've been doing this for a little while, advertising their cards via Metro newspaper. It's a free newspaper that you can pick up at tube stations, on the buses, and sometimes in supermarkets. How effective is it? Well, you'll have to ask Eddie, John Skipper. People keep saying that Tyson Fury cannot get a license in the UK because of the UCAD case from 2015. Well, he was licensed twice on his comeback in 2018. Maybe they don't know about them fights. He had 2 fights in the UK, 2018, before he fought Wilder. And he hasn't fought in the UK since. But as far as I know, he can fight in the UK. And they are talking about holding the Dillian Fury fight in the UK. So if Fury can't fight over here as far as you know, how is Huey managing to fight over here? They were both charged with the same thing, and they were both penalised with the same penalty for the castrated wild boar. Apart from the Pulev fight, Huey has had many fights in the UK since that Nandrolone controversy in 2016. Many. Now, where they may have trouble getting a venue in the UK is Tyson Fury's fan base. You know, in one of his comeback fights, there was fights breaking out. Even Tyson Fury was distracted by the fights in the seats while he was fighting. You know, and they have a reputation of pissing on the floors in the arena and a load of foul, ratchet shit. So that might be a hassle, but they're looking at Man United's Old Trafford. They turned Tyson Fury down already. And that's the team he supports. And they're talking about Cardiff's Principality Stadium. I think that would be the favourite to host the Fury-Dillian White fight. The last time Manchester United held a big boxing event was Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn 2. That was in 93, I believe. They're just saying they don't want to hold these big sporting events there. But that's not the reason. And a lot of people listening to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. That's not the reason. Tyson Fury, he wanted Manchester United, Old Trafford, to host the Fury and Wilder rematch, the second fight, in 2019. And they flat out said no. Tell me any British venues or stadiums have rejected Anthony Joshua. Who? Tyson Fury just got bad vibes, man. I mean, he's just got bad vibes. Good fighter, but he just got bad vibes.